But before we get to that, speaking of people that have absolutely cringe takes on anything to do with relationships or families, we have Chelsea Handler. This video is incredible. I like it. I didn't think it was real at first, but then I realized that it's 2023.
She's also made all of these jokes before. Before you even play it, she has made all of these jokes before. This is not even new material.
This is for The Daily Show. Dude, the direction that The Daily Show is going in is just bleak.
I thought this was an old skit. I've seen this video before, or at least a version.
I think it's new.
Okay, then this...
She redid the same bit with a different iteration.
I could be wrong, but I know she's... Like, when I remember making her these jokes before, like, the lighting was different. She was in a different outfit, but like, it's all...
Let's see it.
It's all the same thing.
Here we go. Make sure the volume's there.
This is a day in the life of a childless woman. I wake up at 6 a.m. I remember that I have no kids to take to school, so I take an edible, masturbate, and go back to sleep. I wake up at 12:30 p.m. and get ready for a busy day of doing whatever the I feel like. I put on my most impractical and stylish shoes, since I won't be chasing a child around the grocery store. I go to my fave spot in Paris to grab a croissant. I do a meditation sesh on the plane since I have no screaming kids, allowing me all the time in the world to become enlightened. The weightlessness of my existence has granted me superhuman powers. I teleport myself back home. Then I get ready for a night out with whatever hot guy I met on Raya that morning. I call up a babysitter and tell her that I don't need her since I still don't have kids. Now it's time for a workout, so I hit Mount Everest for a quick climb. I invent a time machine, go back in time, and kill Hitler. Freeze, you bastard! It's amazing what you can do when you have this much free time. And that's a day in the life of a childless woman.
The cope is strong. Like, it's one thing. There are plenty of women that say they don't want kids, and that's fine. But when you go out of your way...
She's actively putting down women who do have kids. She's saying their existence is embarrassing. Yeah. And also, like, I find it sad how she's referring to the weightlessness of her existence. Like, don't you want your existence to have weight
to someone?
Yeah, in the world.
Also, let's point out here, she's saying, I don't have kids and I'm so great. Also, I don't have a stable partner. And so I go on dating apps at whatever. Yeah. How old is this person?
Specifically Raya.
Right? She's like still trying to find someone. I don't know. This just seems like such a... This is convincing... I already want to have kids, but I think you should show this to everyone who's on the fence and they'll be like, oh, actually, I do want my life to have meaning and purpose.
You know who actually honestly made a really great case for it was Andrew Tate. When he talked about how he's like, here I was, you know, visiting my grandma, and there's like 70 people in the room, all that have come, you know, essentially from this one woman. And when you women are one day sitting around and with nothing but your money in your middle class apartment to keep you warm, you're gonna feel sorry for yourself one day. And he's right. Like it is a sort of meaningless existence in a way to not try to at least, I guess, pass on your genes, right?
I'm okay with Chelsea Handler not passing on her genes. You know, that sounds really mean, but she has just been such a negative person for so long that I think maybe we skip this one.
Well, I don't understand where her feeling comes from that people are trying to force her to have kids. Like,
and
no
also,
one is
especially no one in Hollywood.
And you're past menopause, babe. Like, we know you don't have kids. We can see it. It's over.
Who is it that we talked about that one day where somebody's like, she's like 55 years old, she's like, and I'm just like, I'm not going to be able to have kids now. And we were like, yeah, you weren't going to be able to have kids.
Well, no, she said like, I've been thinking about it or something like crazy like that.
Was I on the show that day? I feel like I remember.
I think it was like a test episode that we never released when I first got here, actually.
You are not having children. I mean, what's weird about this to me is like, if you're happy having childless kids, why do you have to put... or childless kids. If you're happy being childless, why do you have to constantly prove that your life is better and you're more free and you can do whatever? Like, she never says, oh, because I'm wealthy, I get to fly to Paris. Oh, because I'm wealthy, I get to... Like,
her face looks like she's lying to me. Like, she looks like she's faking it. Like, she wants kids and doesn't have them in it, and she's like coping hard.
Well, I mean, someone who's happy without children wouldn't post this video.
She's been talking about the fact that she doesn't have kids for, I mean, I feel like it's been going back for at least a decade, probably longer. I mean, her identity is being like a childless person, and she has never seemed happy to me, and her life is about what, self-indulgence, and
she's going on tour now with Amy oh no, I'm sorry, that's
Amy Schumer?
And Amy Poehler maybe, and
Amy
Chelsea
Poehler,
Handler,
who has kids and talks about being a kid. Like, Amy Poehler is very different vibe than Chelsea Handler. I don't know why Amy Poehler would do that.
I might be thinking of someone else. I saw something else. All those female comedians, they all look alike.
They all run together.
They all run together. They're all basically
equally unfun. No, Amy Poehler is all right. I think she and Tina Fey are all right.
Yeah.
Good God,
comedians, for sure.
Well, you know what they both have in common? They have kids.
Maybe
that's the
That's
key to
true.
being a successful female comedian.
I would like to have like an Alec Baldwin, like a button that it sounds like a gunshot, and then it goes, "Good God, Lemon." Like that would be
Yeah,
fantastic.
that'd be funny.
I need a soundboard. I'm telling you.
What is just like Chelsea Handler doing? Like, why make this? It's not funny. It's kind of cringy and weird.
Life must be boring.
Is it also? I mean, is it also?
Why does she have to sell it so hard? Like, I'm able to do all these things, and I'm more enlightened, and I can wear better shoes than you would. Like, all this petty, weird stuff.
It's also a lot of it was just you have money. You could do all that stuff.
That's my point.
You could do all that stuff with kids because you
Her
could have
kids
nannies.
would have been out of the house already by now. So she would be living exactly the same lifestyle,
Also,
exactly the same amount of money.
everything she brags about is because she is wealthy.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
They're listening for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle sound effect.
Oh.
Okay.
We haven't even like actually started the show yet. So
Sometimes I think women who make videos like this are trying to cling on to like being youthful, right? Like
Yeah.
she's also got a lot of Botox, work on her face. Do whatever you want. I don't care about that so much as you are trying to present yourself as youthful still,
Yeah.
right? Like
free-spirited.
not
Her,
free-spirited, like literally younger than you actually are. So she's bringing up the fact that she's childless and she's got, you know, her hair done and her makeup and whatever else. And it's because she's trying to project this like I am young and hot. But
Well, yeah, she wakes up in the morning with makeup on.
full face of makeup.
And a blowout.
Is it also a form of social conditioning that like they're trying to convince women that have been convinced? First, they were convinced by feminism to not get married in their 20s. Then they were convinced in their 30s to continue going for the CEO chair that none of them get to.
They're
because
trying to
there's
say
not that
stay
many
the
CEOs.
course. Like you don't understand
Yeah.
when you get to my age, Chelsea Handler says it's still good. I still like it. I'm glad I made this choice, which I don't think is true.
What they did is, okay, she's like, what, in her 50s? So what they did is, okay, so in the 20s, they're like, you know, you don't need no man. Just get railed by a bunch of dudes and go on with your life. That's fine. Then in their 30s, they're like, you've got a career, be in your career. But in the 40s, the medical industrial complex gets in there like, you need IVF. Nobody loves you. Have kids on your own. And so they tried the IVF treatments in their 40s. It doesn't take, so in their 50s, in order to cope with the fact that they never got kids, now Chelsea Handler has to do her part to make them feel like they're okay.
And I would love an expose. I mean, I actually don't want this because I feel like it'd be a really inappropriate invasion of privacy. But if she ever wrote a memoir, if she volunteered this information on her own, I'd be curious to know if she ever tried to go through IVF or tried to have a child on her own. Because if she admits it, it's a crack in the core of this I'm childless by choice mentality that she has been promoting throughout her whole career.
I do see when people post videos talking about this stuff, there are obviously far funnier people and funnier women that I still think come off as a little bit bitter who post videos about this on like TikTok and Instagram. And in the comments section, they tend to be fairly reasonable. Like a lot of the people are like, look, I have kids. I never wanted to push anyone to have them. And that seems to be the take that most of the women who make videos like this are talking about. They feel annoyed at all of the adults in their life when they were younger asking them, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? But it always, again, kind of like what we talk about with like fighting a religion in America that hasn't been culture dominant in 20 years. Like, are there really people going up to women these days saying, when are you going to have kids? When are they going to have kids?
If anything, if you decide to have kids, they'll pressure you to stop and say, like, don't you want to travel? Don't you want to do this? Don't you want to do that?
But
Instead of having kids.
See, I think women do feel a pressure to have children, but I think it's biological and internal, and I don't think that it's necessarily socially conditioned.
Well, the things they're claiming seem like reasonable things that I have heard in the past. They just don't feel like they've been culturally relevant in a long time.
And I think that there are women who, by choice, don't want to have children, and, you know, maybe that's okay, but don't promote it as something that it's not, right?
Yeah. And don't put down moms.
Don't put down moms, and just say it was my choice. Like the fact that she has to constantly reference like, well, I don't have kids, so I'm freer than you. So I have more time to do whatever, to be more selfish than you. Like, you're not promoting values that I would want to cultivate within myself. And I feel like if you do choose not to have children, I'm sure you have good reasons. You don't need to justify them to me. You don't need to say, well, I get to take an edible and masturbate, and that's why it's a good thing not to have kids. Like, that seems vapid, and I feel sad for you that that's the focus of your life.
Also, a lot of the women that do have kids feel these days, or stay-at-home moms have to constantly justify the fact that they're stay-at-home moms to people who tell them that they're bolstering the patriarchy by choosing to stay at home.
If anyone tells me they're a stay-at-home mom, I think I'm gonna start like clapping out loud. I think it's great.
Well, every once in a while they go off script and stop being the choice feminists they claim to be.
Yeah.
They say, oh, I don't have anything against stay-at-home moms. I just want them to have the choice. I want all women to have the choice to either stay at home or to work or to do both.
You think men should earn more money than women so that their wives can stay home? Yes? Is that what you believe?
Right.
Are you okay with that? That would give them the choice to stay home.
When pressed, it's actually not that they want women to have the choice. They want women to make
again,
the choice they want them to make.
Exactly, and that they are more liberated, right? They are the ones actually fighting for women's freedoms.
And this is being pushed out by a Hollywood industry that has tremendous power over the mindset. I don't know how much power the Daily Show has.
Thankfully, the Daily Show is completely irrelevant.
Fair enough.
And nobody thinks Chelsea Handler is cool.
Fair enough.
Other than people who are like Chelsea Handler.
If you sorry, this is occurring to me. If you were childless by choice, right? You didn't think you were the right person to raise kids, and I understand that. I don't think kids should be raised in homes. Ideally, they're raised where they are loved and wanted, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
This girl doesn't even have a boyfriend or a husband. Like, I guess you're strong.
Being childless doesn't mean you can't have a relationship.
Why can't you hold a steady relationship, Chelsea? Like,
seems like you're just a very selfish person.
I feel like you are the worst, and people don't want to be around you.
Is there a male analog to this where a guy goes, where a guy makes videos like this, I guess? Like, I can't think of a...
I mean, it's more about I don't have the burden of a woman telling me what to do.
Yeah, but it's not about the kids.
Wanting validation from me, blah, blah.
I think it's sort of the inverse, right? She's saying, because I don't have kids, I get to do all this stuff. And men, it's like, because I'm not tied down to a wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, like, they don't mention the way that she's
Which I think is
over.
equally cringe.
Yeah. All right.
Also, I think it's bad. Why do you guys like this?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.